Welcome back. This is our second conversation, and it's all about tracking household spending with the Statistical Institute of Belize. Now, I want to inform you guys that this is a very important survey. They are going to be starting on Saturday. It's called the Household Budget Survey, for short, HBS. And there's going to be some visitors stopping at your homes, knocking and asking for information, and they really want your honesty. And perhaps after that, then we can actually have the assessment of how we are really spending our monies. So to guide us through this conversation, we have representatives of the Statistical Institute of Belize. Joining us is Christian Orellana. He's the manager of Census Surveys and Administrative Statistics Department. We also have here with us Melvin Perez. He's a statistician too, representing the Economics Statistics Department. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
So I know the work that you guys do, I imagine it's very technical, a lot of data collection. It's very time consuming as well, but important.
Yes.
And so we're really grateful that you guys are taking the time to have us understand a little bit more about the HBS and what that will entail in terms of people stopping at our homes, asking questions. Perhaps we can begin with an overview of what it is. I sort of gave you guys an idea, but to hear from your technical roles and what that involves. What's the HBS?
Right. Good morning. Good morning, Belize. As what you mentioned, well, you have said it very, very perfect. EHBS is just basically, it captures data of the household, the spending patterns, right? And as what the name suggests, budget, right? Most households will have a budget in terms of a monthly budget, how much they will be spending on food, how much they will be spending on transportation. So basically, the whole objective of this survey is just to capture the spending pattern of the household.
Yeah.
Right? And it's very important, like what you mentioned, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
When the interview go to your host, you know, and they ask you the different questions from the different sections, for you to be honest in terms of how much do you spend on the different sections, right? Because this is very important. Why? From the information collected from this survey is what we use to update our basket, right?
Okay.
And the basket is what we use to calculate the inflation rate for the country of Belize, right? So the basket contains the goods and services. Now, in 2008, just to give you a little history, right? In 2008, we had a household expenditure survey, and the information that was collected in that survey, we had CDs, MP3s, which are items that, you know, at that time was very popular.
We don't have that anymore.
Now, in 2018, we did a household budget survey, and the information that was captured, CDs were no longer in use, MP3s were no longer in use, and this is one of the benefits, right, and importance for us to do this survey every 5 years, actually, right, because the spending pattern of the household keep changing over time. Items that might no longer exist, there's new items coming on board, and also services, right? So for now, one of the main things that we want to monitor, which we have seen, is, for example, clothing, in terms of used clothing, right? Right now, as in our basket, we don't capture used clothing.
What do you mean by used clothing? Like purchasing used clothes?
So, yeah,
okay,
purchasing.
so like thrifting, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's an entire industry.
It's an entire industry. You have a lot of outlets out there, online businesses coming, right? So that is something that we want to monitor for this EHBS, which we asked the household, did you purchase pants? Was it new or used, right? And that's how we get this information in order for us to see what we need to price so that the inflation rate, when we report it, it's representative to the household, what they have answered on this household budget survey.
So in many households, you have what you would call recurrent expenditure when it comes to certain things like food, right?
Yes.
Utilities, those don't go away. You have to spend a certain amount every week, every 2 weeks, so on and so forth, right? Would you be looking at any other expenses aside from clothing, for instance?
Yes, we also be looking at health.
Mm-hmm.
We have a section for health, transportation,
Yeah.
non-durable goods,
Mm-hmm.
right? It does capture
Comprehensive.
very comprehensive
Mm-hmm.
of what the household would spend.
Yeah.
And also in terms of reference period, in terms of the food, right, it's for the past 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Non-durables is for the past 30 days. So depending on the item that we see that, okay, in terms of non-durable goods, household will purchase those items like once a month or maybe
Yeah.
twice a month, right? So even and on transportation, for example, purchase of a vehicle, it will be for the past 12 months,
Yeah.
more or less, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, we do have a very comprehensive list in terms of the questions.
I
here's
just want to
my-
clarify something really quickly. So is this survey done every 5 years then? So the last one would have been
It's-
2021 or
Yes, it
2020?
is recommended to be done every 5 years, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But then again, it comes with the manpower of the institute, also financial.
Yeah.
So
So
there's
when
a
was
lot
our
of
last
interest.
one?
Sorry,
When was our last one?
2018.
2018.
2018 to 2019. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's my question then, right? Because I think that many of us perhaps, are a bit reluctant to participate in surveys and what have you. So I could sort of foresee it being a bit of a challenge going door to door asking people, what are you spending your money on in your household budget? Do you find that Belizeans are receptive to this kind of thing?
Yes. For before we execute this survey, we have a pilot, right?
Okay.
Which we visit some households and we administered the survey. What we found out is that some households they hide, right, from us. So when we are at the door and saying good morning, and no one's come out.
Yeah.
Right? No one come out. And sometimes they tell their children to go tell them that I'm not here or I'm at the shop or something. Right? So in some areas, yes, we do that. We do have that difficulty. So what we do is that we reschedule. Right?
Okay.
So if we don't find them, then we have to visit them again. Now I can say that on urban areas though, it's more harder than villages because urban areas most I'll say that they work right during from 8 to 5. So we have to schedule ourselves to visit these houses in the cities and towns after 5, right?
Yeah.
And then they I
You
mean
know what I think? Somewhere in the back of my mind tell me that people believe that their expenses are to be held privately.
Yeah.
Right? So people are reluctant. So if you ask me, okay, hey Sana, what do you spend most of your money on a monthly basis? My initial reaction would be, well, you want to know that for?
correct?
Yes,
Because to
Not
me,
only
it's
that-
private information, right?
Yes.
Not only that though, because Christian, you opened the conversation by talking about budgeting, you know, but if we're being honest, a lot of us aren't even budgeting properly.
Yeah.
And so we find ourselves living paycheck to paycheck and feeling like the monies that we work and we earn is not enough. And so sharing that with someone that's collecting this information is almost embarrassing to even admit.
Yeah.
You know, sharing the fact that, you know, you're spending money. Some people even embarrassed to say that they thrift, and I don't know why, because I love thrifting. But I really want to talk about that. The training that people would get, that your workers would get to go and carry out these data collection processes, because that is also important. You spoke about the last survey being done in 2018, one, because it's expensive, and two, it's time consuming, trying to navigate, getting to these households, people being willing to actually share the information. But you have to, I imagine, train additional people aside from who actually work at SIB on a regular Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, right?
Yes.
Talk about the training that's involved.
So, yes, as you rightly mentioned, we're doing training. We're on the last week of training. So this survey is a big survey. So it's a 3 weeks training where we hire temporary staff, interviewers, field supervisors, and they come for a 3 weeks training. So in that training, we train them on what they need to learn. Understand what is the question, what the question is asking, be able to navigate the questionnaire on the tablet, because we use tablet to collect the data, and also for them to know how to navigate with the households, how to approach the households, you know, to be able to convince them to participate. Because as you guys were talking, You know, people are sometimes they don't want to participate, but this survey is very important because at the end of the day, the main objective of this survey is for us to update the basket of goods and services.
Yeah.
And that basket will represent the goods and services that the Belizean household spends. So without them, we cannot update the basket.
Yeah.
So that's why they are very important for us, for them to participate.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? As small as Belize is, and as small as our population is, relatively speaking, to be able to cover this country in its entire breadth,
Yeah.
that's a lot of work still.
Yes.
You're talking Corozal to Punta Gorda.
Yeah.
You're talking the Keys. You're talking east to west as well, and everything under. How difficult is that in terms of the human resources that you put to go out there in the field?
So it's through a census where we have the opportunity to visit every household. So from the census, we're able to get the list of all the households
Yeah.
in the country. So between the census, we do what we call surveys. Like in this time, we're going to do the household budget survey. So we do a sample, a
Okay,
subset.
you're doing samples.
So
Okay,
in this
gotcha.
case, we're sampling 3,040 households, which will be divided into 4 because data collection will happen in 4 different times of the year to capture seasonality. So those 3,040 households is divided across the districts. So like the Belize district will have most of the households because it's the district that has the highest population. And then each district will have one team that will be in charge to visit all the households in that district.
All right.
How do you go about dividing or subdividing really the parts of the district though? Because I imagine budgeting might look different or the spending habits might look different for different parts of the district, for even the city area, you know, where certain types of economic living might, you know, be better than others.
Yes. So for that, those are the questions that we as statisticians ask ourselves. Okay, we want for the data to be representative country. And then we also want for it to be representative by the district. And it's those 2 levels that we're able to produce the data to be representative. More lower, we can do that, but it's more costly. It's just through a census. So, okay, we want to present the data by the district, and that's we're able to come up with a size that will be able to say, okay, it's representative. And for that, there is a formula.
What do you say to people, just as Isani was asking, that might be concerned about sharing their personal spending habits with these data collectors? You know, they might feel like Melvin Nikona might do know he know that, you know, things are kind of tight wrong. What do you say to people that actually feel that way?
The first thing that we do is, first of all, interviewers, they will have an ID, SIB ID, they will have a shirt with the SIB logo, and when they introduce themselves, they say, we are from the Statistical Institute of Belize, and all the data that we collect from you is strictly confidential.
Okay.
It will not be shared with nobody else. Secondly, they sign an oath of secrecy, which they are binded. And then at the end of the day, from this data that I am collecting from you, is simply to produce the basket. It's not to share your information. No, it's for us to be
So they won't know your name?
No.
Or your address?
No. That's just for us. We get the information at the household level just for us to be able to collect and then get an average. Okay, this is the basket that the Belizean households are spending. At no point we will be sharing individual data. No. So like that, sorry.
On a quarterly basis, SIB releases the CPI, right?
Monthly.
Monthly. Well, I'm talking for us in the media, we get it every 3 months. We get a full report, right?
Okay.
But yes, so the CPI, which is a consumer price index, looks at various trends in terms of what we're also purchasing and consuming. How does something like this tie into the household budget survey?
Okay. Well, again, right, like what we mentioned before, the household budget survey, in this case, the relationship between the CPI and this survey is just to update the basket, right?
Okay.
Right now, as when we publish our consumer price index, is basically using the 2018 basket that was generated from the household budget survey at that time. Now, as we were mentioning, from 2018 to to now,
2020.
2026, there's a lot of changes in terms of the spending patterns, new items on the market, new services that the household now are using, which back then maybe they didn't look, or they were not using it because maybe it was not important for them at that time. So the linking is updating the basket now so that it could be more representative to the household when we publish the CPI.
You used an example previously, right? Where you are looking at CDs and MP3s. Perhaps now you're looking at subscriptions, right?
That's right.
Because people have moved away from physical form to now
Streaming.
having a monthly subscription for a streamer.
Yes.
Talk a bit about that.
Yes. So we do have that in terms of what is Netflix. Also, the cable companies here in Belize, they also have now the online subscription. So that is being added now to the questionnaire. Right. We still ask the cable service, like the normal cable service, but we have added new services such as what you just mentioned, the subscription. Also, in terms of storage subscription for iPhones, right? The iCloud. So there are a lot of online services that now we will be asking the household, and again, it all boils down to the household to participate. And I want to stress this out, right? That once if your household is selected to be part of the survey, because at the end of the day, the result is for them. Because when we publish when we publish the inflation rate, it will be representative to that household if they do participate in this questionnaire. Right?
Yeah, and as you said, it would be representative to that household. However, the household would not be identified specifically. No. Your personal information wouldn't be out there. I love that we were looking at some of the common questions that they would hear. Are there other perhaps newer questions that they can expect and perhaps wouldn't be taken off guard by that they would hear?
So just in summary, we'll have 3 main questionnaires.
Okay.
We have the household questionnaire where we will be capturing data of where the household spends at the household level. For example, utilities as an example. So anything that you can think that the household spends at the household level will be in that questionnaire. Then we have the individual questionnaire, which will be for every person that is 14 years and over, and in there we will capture expenditure at the individual level.
You said 14?
14 and over.
Okay.
So for each 14 and over that's in the household, there will be a questionnaire for him or her.
What would you ask someone that's 14?
Well, it's across. If you are from 14 and over, all the questions applies to you.
Okay, so what are some of the questions that they would be
getting? So for example, we'll be asking on clothing, footwear, if they spend at restaurants and all of that. And then we have the last questionnaire, which is the diary. The diary is a questionnaire that will be left at the household. So we will explain to the household from the first time we visit the household, okay, this is a questionnaire that we need your assistance to fill it in daily, just on food, non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages. So I left the questionnaire to you today. At the end of the day, okay, I buy tomatoes, I buy eggs, and they will be recording it. Tomorrow, at the end of the day, they will do the same thing. They will be doing that for 7 days. Because as we rightly mentioned before, food and non-alcoholic, they will purchase it more on a daily basis. So the reference period is 7 days.
All right. Well, gentlemen, as you mentioned, this starts on Saturday. We did also mention that it's a very time-consuming survey process. How long will we be expecting this to be carried out for?
So data collection starts on Saturday, and it will last from 4 to 5 weeks, depending on the district. So this is round 1. And then we will be out again in June, in September, and in December.
Alrighty.
So that we are able to capture what the household spent during Christmas, what the household spent during back to school, so that the basket will be representative on a year.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we want to thank you for having this conversation with us. I know it's going to be quite a busy season for you guys, especially with this project in particular, but we thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, we take another quick break, but don't go anywhere. Our next conversation is the Belize Raptor Center, breaking the poison cycle.